this, the 16th day of the May Painting Challenge of 2015, I started my morning by doing some base coating, as you do. And on this Librarian, that means I've base coated the sword. Very, very shiny. What did I use? Well, I used Vallejo Model Air colors. I'm starting to experiment with these. I've heard good things about them, so I bought a few. And I like them. There's just one thing. We're going to get to that. This is base coated using steel. Now, the ones I heard good things about were the silvers, so I bought a few of the silvers. Apart from the steel, I bought chrome and aluminium. I'm not sure how that's how it's supposed to be spelled, but oh well. I didn't get the golds because some people felt that the golds from this range are not as good, so I held off on that. Now, I really like working with these. The Model Air in general is a good range because, you know, normal paints like the Model Color, I have to thin it quite a lot, but Model Air paints I can just use straight out of the bottle. They're already the consistency I want to use them in. The disadvantage with these, well, look at these. It's basically the same color. I mean, I did some tests on paper. The difference between aluminium and chrome is only that the chrome has a very slight tinge of blue, while the aluminium is more of a straight gray silver. And the steel is like a slightly darker than the chrome because it has a little bit more blue in it. And I think it's noticeable here, but can you tell that on this sword, I base coated it steel, and then I highlighted the top edge in chrome. Can you see the difference? Because I really can't. So yeah, it seems a bit unnecessary. At this point, I'm not going to buy the silver. Oh well. Let's keep testing. Let's go with the aluminium. I think it's supposed to be aluminum, isn't it? But they spelled it aluminium. I'm going to put a little bit of this on my palette and try this out. Oh, that's even more fluid. Oh well. Let's just get a little bit of it and just see if we can highlight like the tip here. See if that makes a difference. Can you tell that this is a new color? I really can't. These look pretty much all the same to me, which is a little frustrating. So in order to highlight this, I'm probably going to have to try something else. Well, let's put him aside for a moment. And just let me quickly rinse this brush out because I don't want to leave any metallic paint in it. And put the protective cap on. You always want to do that. And store it away. Now, the other stuff I've worked on is some green on this base, on that vine, and I've done a sort of basic highlighting on this helmet. And the color I used for that is this jade green from Game Color, which is a very nice kind of, it's kind of a minty green, but not as pale as you would think from a mint green. It still has a richness to it. Now, the next step up, sort of in just going from straight colors, is foul green. And I'm going to put on a bit of a highlight of that just to show you what that's like. And on this vine here on the base, I'm not going for subtlety. I'm not going for transitions here. I'm just picking up the straight foul green, and boom, you see it's a pretty stark difference here. Just a very quick highlight, but you know, it's a base. It's not something that's going to draw the eye very much. It's perfectly okay if we have some drastic transitions. And the good thing about this green being very bright is that, you know, I was previously worried that the blue, sort of bluish gray on part of the stone would look out of place. But, you know, compared to this green, it looks, you know, sedate. It looks really muted. So, that's something. Now, it does blend in a little bit better when it dries because this is kind of thin. Oh well, good enough. Now, on the helmet. Oh, I did one other thing on the helmet. Don't know if you can tell. Will it focus? Let me see if I can zoom in on the eyes. Ooh, they look really nice, don't they? I painted those off camera, the eye lenses, because I was a bit unsure of how I would go about it because they were so small, so I didn't want to mess up on camera. But you know, they look really nice. I'm kind of proud of those. And you can see I've put a base coat of the jade green on all of it. Now, zoom back out. For highlighting, okay, you have to realize that this thing is going to be lying on the base, probably face up, like this. So the highlights would not come from this direction, they would come from this direction. So you have to think a bit differently. Now for this, I will mix up an intermediary color. I will take 50% jade green and 50% foul green and do something or somewhere along those lines and start highlighting. And gee, good grief, I'm already at 7 minutes. This is going to be another long one, isn't it? And this is very watery. So take some of that out. And, well, this highlighting process is going to take a while, and it's going to be my normal careful feathering up. So let's break here, and I'll come back when I have something more to show you. And after a bit more work, this is what the helmet looks like. I've added in a few more highlights. You know, I haven't been super neat about it because, like, this is going to be a small detail. Base coated the bone a bit better. While I had some red out, I painted these little, I don't know what they are, tendons, something. I'm going to put this aside for the moment. I used the red because, let's see if you can see the thorns. Because if you look at nature, thorns on plant stems and the like are usually not the same color as the actual stem. They're not green, they're usually brown, but I thought this is fantasy, so I painted them a kind of bloody red. I'm almost done with this base now. I'm just going to give the green a wash. I think I can do that right now. What would be nice? I think a beetle tan green would be appropriate. Let's see how that looks. If I just put that on there, it'll tie the two tones of green I already have there together a little bit, and it'll darken the red a bit more, maybe add a bit of shade. It's kind of, it's not, the beetle tan is a little bit more subtle. It's not as in your face as, well, it's more a pure green. I mean, like the Coelia green shade has some brown in it, And the Athonian camo shade is, well, it's more of a camo, like almost a khaki color. Quite a lot of green, brown, I mean. Yeah. Let's let this dry and we'll see how it looks. Maybe I'll go in with some other wash as well. We'll see. Hopefully not. Anyway, I have, by the way, picked a mini to use for this base. I'm not going to be painting it right now, though. I will show it to you. It's this one. Let's see if you recognize this. This is the Sorcerer from the Thousand Suns upgrade kit. And focus. Unfortunately, it is also fine cast, but it is better quality than the Librarian, actually. I mean, the sword is actually straight. It doesn't have any weird bends and things. And the detail on this is pretty nice. However, I'm not going to do this right now because this is a pretty extensive project. It has tons of tiny details, and if I'm going to do this justice, I need more than 5 days. So I'm putting this aside for a while. It's nice to know that I have a base prepared for it. The miniatures I mentioned yesterday that were on their way to me, I actually received a notice in the mail that the package is at the post office for me to pick up. So I will be picking that up later today, and I will do a sort of unboxing for you tomorrow to show you, because that is going to be my next project. Now, see the aluminium. Now for the metallics. Okay, what I've done now is I've taken the pure metal medium. I've mixed about 50-50 metal medium and chrome, and let's see if that provides a better highlight. Let's see if we can get some differentiation going. Still not a whole lot. It's really hard. When you go this bright, it's really hard to get even brighter. Let's add even more metal medium. Just the top now. Jesus, this is really difficult. Okay, so this is pure metal medium. Okay, there we have finally a slight difference. That will be just about the only noticeable highlight on this. I take it. I'll just do the edge here. Wow. Oh well. So, oh, geez, I almost forgot the question of the day. What's the question of the day? I'm going to have to answer that while working on the lightning. I'm going to have to let the metallic paint dry first, because working on the lightning is going to be normal paints. So, in a few minutes when this is dried, I'll be back. Just wanted to show you that this is finished now. Apart from, letting the green dry, I took a thin brush and I poked some gray paint into the cracks between these bronze parts, because it was very, very brownish and muddled, and I wanted to make it more distinct, and I cleaned up the black around the rim, around the lip. Now it's ready for varnishing. Not going to happen today because it's a rainy day out. Not using aerosol spray today. Anyway, so for the lightning, I have base coated that in magic blue. I'm going to give it now a highlight of electric blue, and it's just going to be lightly overbrushed across the top of everything here. While I do that, I can answer the question of the day. It is Coolest fictional setting to live in: Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, or other, your choice. Now, I considered this quite a lot. And I think my choice is probably Star Trek. It sort of depends on what you mean by coolest. And I'm thinking, which setting would I actually want to live in? Which one would I have a chance of having a cool, interesting life in? Because while a medieval setting like Lord of the Rings is interesting in theory, in practice, I just wouldn't want to live without indoor plumbing. And the Star Wars universe is constantly at war. So that's kind of unsafe. And while it is cool and all, you have to put yourself in quite a lot of danger to do cool stuff in the Star Wars universe. Whereas in Star Trek, I mean, the Federation of Planets is a pretty nice place to live, it seems. They've got things figured out. I mean, apart from worrying about Klingons and Romulans and Borgs and shit, you know, there's no actual problems. Apart from the rogue AIs and well, assorted other aliens that want to kill you. But, you know, the Star Trek universe is one where you can actually have you could have a cool career. You could sort of actually get an education, join Starfleet, and go away and do cool stuff without necessarily putting your life in danger, though that could be a part of it sometimes. So yeah, I think Star Trek would be the way to go. Now, I'm going to continue to highlight this up by simply adding white to the electric blue. And my thinking, my logic here is that where would it be brightest? Well, it seems, because light is always brightest at the point where it emanates. And it seems like this lightning is coming from the hilt. So I'm not going to highlight it up towards the top. I'm actually going to highlight it towards the bottom. I'm going to do it lighter this part, and then lighter and lighter and lighter until it's like pure white down here, while leaving some of this blue, darker blue around the edges to serve as a sort of shade. And once I've done that, I'm going to come back and do some glazing and actual shading and washing. But let me do the highlights off camera, and I'll see you when they're done. Okay, after using an inordinate amount of white paint to get these mixes as light as I needed them, I've finally created the gradient for the lightning bolt here. Now, I'm going to do something completely untested, which might screw up the entire miniature. See, I want this lightning to actually sort of cast light on the rest of the blade. How do I get that? How do I get a sort of glow to the whole thing? Well, I'm going to try to do it by giving it a glaze of this Gilman blue. I have no idea. This might be too strong. If this turns out way too blue, then I'm screwed. Oh well. Here goes nothing. Let's see what this does. I need to get some of this out of here. It's sort of okay. Tinting it a little bit. And it's pulling a little bit more around the lightning, giving that sort of shade, giving it kind of an... I want this sort of OSL effect, but this might be a bit too subtle, even, because it's not sticking to the metallic as it should. This, I'm gonna let this dry and then see how it looks, and then maybe try something different. So after a bit more work, this is what I have. I did add some more washes. I used this here, the Secret Weapon Wash Sapphire, because it's more of a true blue. Most blue washes you could get have a lot of black in them. I didn't want that. And I don't know if it comes across on camera, but there's supposed to be a gradient where it's like actually darker towards the top because the light source is down here. It actually looks better on this side. But I still don't know. There's something off. I think it's the fact that it's white against silver. It's too samey. I'm wondering if there's a way to get another color in there. What would it look like if I glazed some yellow on top of this lightning? If I used something like the fluorescent yellow. Okay, now we're deep into experimental territory, and again I might screw this whole thing up, but we have to try new things occasionally. What would it look like if I just added a hint of this here and there? Just maybe at the corners. A bit stronger there. I have no idea what that's supposed to represent, whether, you know, the forest would actually look like that, but actually that's not too shabby. Let me work at this a bit more now. You know, after a second coat of this stuff, it looks completely unrealistic. There's nothing in nature that corresponds to this, but on the other hand, there are no four swords in nature. It looks really, but I kind of like it, you know. Well, let me put it this way. I can't varnish this guy right now anyway, because as I mentioned before, it's a rainy day. So I'm gonna sleep on this and look at it tomorrow morning again and see if I still like it, or if I get a lot of comments on this video saying you hate it or you love it or something. But I think, well, the reason I got the idea for the yellow was because of the yellow clothing, of course, to tie everything together. So there's some sort of color harmony here, at least, if not, well, I don't know what. Well, this has been an eventful day with a lot of strange stuff happening with the miniature, and many surprises. But that's exciting. This hobby is a journey. You never quite know where it will take you. So, until tomorrow, please, you know, comment, click a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to my channel, you know, all the usual stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow. This is Dakian signing off.